Welcome back to this next part of our video lecture on the ethics of artificial intelligence. Now, I want to talk briefly around why all the buzz around AI is happening now. Why we have such a discussion, but also why we have such advances in artificial intelligence now, as opposed to, 10 years into the future or 10 years in the past. And there's basically three simple reasons for this. One of them is plainly technological development in hard and software. Yeah, if you remember that an AI is basically an agent working with sensors and actuators, we do have more powerful agents. Yeah, so the software that determines how the agent learns, how it senses, and how it translates sensing into actuating, into doing things. These algorithms have been advanced. We have better instruction sets, better algorithms, different types of algorithms, better firmware that controls physical or material machinery that it might need. We have better memory, addressing and so forth. But we also have better hardware. Yeah, so more powerful, stronger, smaller microprocessors, better memory, better power management, and effectively also better sensors and actuators. So better lenses, for example, for an AI to see the world, not just read about the world, and also better actuated, better mechanical things, that can actually control physical devices, for example, right? So these developments make the AI in all of its main components better. The second aspect is that we have more and more digital objects that have some intelligence, some agency, and of course, feed and generate of digital data. Yeah, so I'll give you one example. I have a digital toothbrush that has some intelligence. It's not very good, but it can sense how much I brush my teeth, how long, and how forceful I do that. It also has some agency. It can do certain things. In this case, it beeps and it buzzes, but it does certain things. So again, you don't have to take these notions to be at face value, like intelligence or agency. But these things can actually do more and more things. And what is also the case is that we have, for a while now, have had more of these things than people on the planet. Yeah. So if you look around in your own household, I'm pretty sure you will see that you have more objects that are digital and connected to the internet than people living in your household. Yeah. So in our household, I have my toothbrush, we have a cooking machine, we have a television, we have a video game console, we have all sorts of other devices, all of which are connected to the internet, way more than we have people in our house. Yeah. And so this graph on the left here shows it charts the human growth in population to about 8.5 billion at the moment, and also shows the population of things that are digital, so that read and generate zeros and ones basically, and that are connected to the internet. And we have about 25 billion of these. Now, importantly, this is not the total volume of all things, of all digital things. These are only the things that are connected on the internet, and it's way more than people, which is why we also have stopped calling the internet the place of information, the internet for the people. It has long become the internet of things. Well, why is this important? This is important because this is the type of data that that an AI needs to be able to sense and react to the world, right? It's the AI is an artificial being. It's not a human being that has physical senses like smell and touch and audio and visual like we do. No, it does need digitized information to be able to learn anything about the world and to do anything. And this particular type of information, digital information, data in zeros and ones, has grown exponentially, in particular over the last 10 years, ever since the internet and the so-called digital age has really taken off. Yeah, from the late 2000, 2010 to now. This chart shows you, for example, how much digital data is available from 2010, where it was 2 zettabytes. I don't even know how many zeros that has, to now, which is about 120 zettabytes, and it will continue to grow exponentially. This is important for AI because this is how it senses the world, right? And the third reason, very simply, is we've started to put some serious money into AI research and development. Again, just one chart for illustration from the United States. Look at how funding into AI has grown from 22 million in 2011, already a very staggering number, to 9.3 billion in 2018 alone. And as you might expect, it has continued to grow. So, very simply, with more people spending more of their time with better hardware and software developing AI into what it is now. Yeah. And all this together, these three main reasons, are the key reasons why we see now incredible advances in an incredible period of time, an incredible short period of time. Here's one example to show you this, and it's actually a fairly difficult thing. It's a so-called text-to-image AI. So it's like ChatGPT. It's actually another open AI form, but it's called Midjourney. It generates image from text. That's actually a fairly difficult thing to do because it's a very creative piece of intelligence that senses text as input and then generates a graphical response. Yeah. And the example that I brought here is from a very simple prompt of show me an image of an otter using Wi-Fi on an airplane. And I'll show you the outcome that the AI generates in version 3 from October last year to version 4 in November, just 1 month later, and version 5, the one that is current now in March 2023. Have a look at these three images: October, November, and March. Now have a look at how amazingly good, advanced this AI has become in such an incredible short period of time. In version 3, it clearly had trouble understanding or sensing the input. Right? It had this sort of otter-like creature, but it's sort of in the air, so it kind of constructed something out of this idea of an airplane, but it was not really an airplane there. And also, there's nothing really about speaking about this Wi-Fi, right? So nothing there. Only 1 month later, we clearly have an otter-like creature that is clearly sitting in what looks like an airplane. And in some versions, like the bottom right, you can see that it's holding some sort of internet-capable device, like a touchpad or an iPad or something, right? And then contrast that to the current version, only 4 months later. Look how photorealistic this has become. Look at the minute detail of the laptop the otter has on the bottom left, or all the detail about the airplane seat on the top right with the seatbelt and everything. And also have a look at how detailed and realistic the otter itself has become. This has all just happened within two updates in 5 months and shows you how the advances in AI are happening now and at the moment.